Let's meet someone who turned a childhood passion for business into a career of scaling multi-million-dollar companies and helping founders master sales. I'm Kate Save. The Inspired CEO starts now. Welcome to The Inspired CEO, where each episode we explore the innovative wellness practices that are driving success and longevity in the modern business world. In this interview, David Fastuca, CEO and co-founder of Growth Forum and former co-founder of Locomote, share his journey as a young entrepreneur to building multi-million-dollar businesses. A seasoned leader in sales and growth, he reveals how he's helped SaaS and B2B founders scale, generating over $150 million in sales pipelines. Welcome, David.
Thanks, Kate. It's been a long time coming. We're here.
Yeah, so you've just launched a new book.
It is, that's right. It's out this week. It's out today. So it's called the B2B Sales Playbook. Here it is here in the flesh. It's basically myself and my co-founder Luigi, all of our insight, experiences, tools, tactics, all condensed into a book. It's been about an 18-month journey to get it to production. Anyone that's gone through the process of creating a book can understand and feel the pain.
Yes.
It's like starting another business.
Absolutely.
So I'm very proud of it.
So let's go back to your first business. Well, actually, I heard that even as a child, you were quite entrepreneurial. Tell me, you started selling business cards as a child. Is this right?
That's right. So in my younger years, I love drawing. Yeah. I'm a creative at heart. So I started doing work for friends and family and just doing business cards, logos, brochures, and all that sort of stuff back then. And I thought, I'm just going to go to Snap Printing, get myself some business cards, and I've got a business. Yeah. And then I was telling my cousin Ross, and he was like, stupid, you don't have a business, you just got a card. You actually need to set up a business. And he's like, I'm actually doing multimedia design at uni, because Ross is a little bit older than me. And he's like, how about we just do something together? You do the graphics, I'll do the multimedia stuff, and we'll start a little family business. And that was the first foray into the world of business. Quote unquote entrepreneur wasn't really a word used a lot back then.
Absolutely wasn't, yeah.
And we would just work after school, on weekends, from the kitchen table at his mum's house, and that's when the sort of journey began.
So you were generating revenue from what age?
What was it, 13, 14?
Whew, spectacular.
Yeah. It's good fun. Often, depending on who I was doing work for, it could either be for a bit of a free pizza.
Yeah.
I was doing for a pizza place, so a bit of contra deals.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sort of led the foray into sales, because then we had to go and market and sell ourselves to get new work. And one sort of funny story that I have to bring up was down Bridge Road here in Melbourne was a very lively fashion strip where stores galore of all different brands. Ross and I were like, you know what? Websites and selling online, it's going to be a big thing. Let's just try and go to these, brick and mortar stores and sell them going online. We got laughed out of every single one of those stores, telling us that no one's going to buy online. And I'll never forget, we were just looking at each other go, are we crazy? Is this just us?
Yeah.
And then so we sort of gave up on doing the e-commerce stuff, and then eBay comes out. Not to say we're going to build eBay, but it was just how
unbelievable.
Maybe having that little bit more persistence earlier on could have unlocked something different.
Sometimes being first or being just before that peak is the downfall, isn't it? It's
interesting.
If you were 6 months later or 1 year later, perhaps you would have been that eBay. It's
funny story, but we'll leave that in the back.
Yeah. So tell me about Locomote. When did you found Locomote?
So my cousin and I, we co-founded it in 2011, along with our third co-founder, Stephen Pegraro, who's a freak pilot himself. But it had nothing to do with that. We were doing work together as us three for some time. We always wanted to go into building a product.
Yes.
At the time, we were still a service-based agency doing websites. Started to go into building some sort of applications. iPhone came out, so the App Store was thriving. And we did some free work, well, I won't say free work, some contra work for a brand called Esk.
Okay.
So it was an anti-energy drink.
Oh, yeah.
So it was all calm in a can, relaxing.
Ah.
So quite the opposite from your Red Bull.
Yeah.
And we liked the concept. They didn't have the funds to build an e-commerce brand and do all their marketing. So we said to them, hey, well, we manage that for you, but instead of paying us, we'll take a clip of everything that we sell online. They thought they were getting a great deal. We thought we were getting a great deal. The investor into the business got wind of this arrangement and said, I want to meet these two. People who are willing to back themselves. I like that. I want to meet them. So this gentleman was called Phil Wyman. We met him at his mansion, and it was like his own co-working space. It was all businesses that he had invested in were working from there. Oh. So it was pretty cool little setup down in St Kilda in Melbourne. And he just said, I want you guys to work from here. Don't pay me nothing, don't pay no rent, move here and something will happen. With that sort of attitude, something will happen. And it wasn't too long after something did, where he had one of his colleagues, one of his friends from a long time, heard about, he had these two crazy Italians that can do all this sort of stuff. She just said, don't make art on computer, was her term. We got this issue within this big mining company and they're managing their travel in the wrong way, we believe. Can you get the guys to come and have a look at this issue? And that's sort of the early beginnings of Locomote, where we were talking to this big mining company. They had an issue of arranging their travel and they wanted to build their own system but didn't have the know-how. And that was where sort of Locomote, the idea, started to spawn from.
Wow, so that wasn't even what you were doing at the time, and it was just problem solving, and that created Locomote.
There was a period of time where if you visited the website, locomote.com, and the name was just synonymous with travel, so that was a bit of serendipity there. But you would visit the website, it would have website design, marketing, and then business travel. So very...
so it wasn't named for travel?
No, it just, we kept the name, so we sort of...
it so works.
It perfect, right? Yeah. There was a time where we're like, okay, we need to make a separation. You know, we were running the agency and the development side, which was going well, at the same time as building the initial beta version of Locomote. Yeah. So Ross was going out and, you know, pitching the brand and the concept to other, you know, bigger brands like your Medibank, your JB Hi-Fi, the connections of Phil. You know, that was part of the allure. He had a great network. While I was still running the agency side to sort of fund, you know, our wages, you know, at that time. We had the name for quite a while, and I'll never forget, like Ross and I sat down and we're like, we've got to make a decision at some point. Are we going to go all in on this new venture, this product? And we just said, you know, why not? Look, we've been saying for so long we want to go down this road. Our gut says yes, things are clicking. Risk profile for us was, you know, we're not married, there's no kids, so there's, you know, not that decision comes into play, right? Because then you've got more people that you're responsible for.
And travel and all of those, the commitments and launching a startup, you are all in.
It is, it's all consuming. So we just said, so then we bit the bullet. We stopped taking on projects that were in that space of design and websites arena, and just put all of our focus onto Locomote.
Oh, that's intense, because you literally cut off your revenue stream, don't you? When you have to say no to work and back yourself. So
that is the hardest thing as a business owner, entrepreneur, saying no. I think it doesn't matter whether it's taking on new work or new opportunities. Even doing what we do now in Growth Forum, at the moment get thrown opportunities because of what we do with go-to-market, to getting involved in other businesses. And it's just one of those things where we need to rein it in to say, there's only so much time, you know, that we have in our day. And when an opportunity looks good, you know, is it pulling you away from your core? Because it doesn't matter what type of business it is, it's going to consume you. It needs attention. Especially early stage businesses. They need time, they need the people, they need the effort. So it's about being a little bit older now and like to think wiser. Still make mistakes. You've definitely
got the scars to show you.
That's right,
so
and the greys. That's right.
You had the exit then of Locomote, and
we did.
What happened next?
So we exited in 2016, which was the final date. We had around 2 years of golden handcuff period, meaning that we had to stay within the business in order to earn our earnouts. So we exited officially out of the doors on August 2018.
Right.
And there was a little bit of soul searching from there as well. So we got into a few investments, did a little bit of consulting. But I guess probably one thing mentioned there, then COVID obviously hit.
Yes.
One thing we don't probably talk about is that our identity is tied to the brand that we work on for such a long time. And there was probably a period there, you know, you're known as, it's David from Locomote,
Yes.
Kate from Be Fit.
Yeah.
And now that's taken away from me. And, you know, looking back on it, it was probably a little bout of depression at that time as well, because I was like, I didn't have this thing where I can live, breathe and think about. You know, obviously got my beautiful family and my wife, but it's that business.
This thing that took up 16 hours a day is gone.
It literally felt like there was a hole. Yeah. And I was just trying to grapple at anything to fill it. Yeah. So we tried a couple of different things. Some things didn't work. Some things did okay, but wasn't, you know, like I knew that there's something big, like a big business still there inside.
And the passion, that whatever lights you up.
Exactly. Yeah. And I just hadn't found it yet. So that was a tough period. And then sort of COVID hit. In the midst of it, we got word of Locomote potentially being back on the market for sale.
Oh.
So the company that bought us, Travelport, they were in the travel space. Obviously, a lot of businesses got hit hard in COVID.
Of course.
I think one of the worst would have been anyone involved in travel, because not only did your revenue stop, because people book in advance, you had to give refunds if you had taken deposits or if, you know, money had transacted. So you went in negative. So Travelport made, you know, the right decision to focus on their core, and they made a lot of sales on investments they made over that time.
Yes.
And we thought, Ross and I looked at each other and we're like, shit, do we throw a hat back in the ring and potentially get this back?
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a surreal experience when they were then pitching us on our product, and we're missing certain things as well that are done, on us buying it back. And it just made sense.
And you didn't ask for the golden handcuffs?
No, none of that sort of stuff. So look, it made sense. Travelport wanted to do right by, there were still customers on it.
Yes.
So like, what a great story of, you know, the business going back to its founders. You know, we can then go back to the customers, some of them, many of them, which we sold to, and say, hey, we're back. You know, we're going to look after you. So it was a good win-win for both parties. And then we sort of had the next challenge of, what do we do with the product now during COVID? So from there, it was, you know, it's an amazing asset. You know, do we look to sort of hold on to it and flip it coming out of COVID? Didn't know how long it was going to be. Or do we try and sell and get customers on, knowing that we can't make no revenue, but once, you know, we believe that COVID had to eventually end, that we can ride that wave out. So we got back some of the original crew from the engineering team, got them involved. Ross and I self-funded it. And then I enlisted the help of my now co-founder in Growth Forum, Luigi, to say, dude, how the heck do I sell this?
Yes.
At the moment, we're targeting CFOs.
Yes.
Who at the time were dealing with buying decisions galore because everyone was going remote. So they had that whole, you know, saga of setting up remote offices, remote workspaces for people at home. So travel was at the bottom of bottom from a priority list. So we took it from an angle of, well, let's change the narrative. If we need to earn the right to get some time with the CFO during this challenging time, let's address the fact that, you know, are you prepared? Are you ready once COVID eases down to then allow your team to travel? Do you have all the checks and balances in place, corporate governance, duty of care, things where a lot of the SMEs probably didn't have because they'll just let their team book direct and then just deal with, you know, receipts and things like that later. So we went with that narrative and it was all cold call and email, which, you know, will never die. So we reignited the old CRM, had an old database, and it was just sets and reps. Checking on LinkedIn, is this person still there? Yep, good. Pick up the phone, call. I'll never forget, some days were great, and I'll have like a bit of a purple patch, and we'll just connect with everyone. Everyone wanted a meeting. So I'll just ignore any other things I had on that day and just kept going. Some days where I just, you know, got abused most of the day. But look, that's the game. You're getting people cold when they're not expecting, and you need to have a real point of difference and a real value to bring them in order for them to say, hey, cool, I'll listen to you right now.
This, do you know what's going through my head is kind of back to the future. People do not pick up the phone anymore. They're scared to pick up the phone. And I think the most powerful thing is the people in the business speaking to the people on the other end. Like, nobody knows the business better.
Yeah.
And yes, we have AI and we have tech, but people are sick of that. They obviously, they're getting thrashed with things they don't want to see or don't want to hear, or prompts from ChatGPT in LinkedIn. And most of the time they're not real, but actually having a human being solve a pain point if you catch them at the right moment. So what is different about Growth Forum? And I think I've listened to on one of your podcasts as well. How are you reaching out to people at the right time now? How has technology enabled that?
So this is where leveraging AI and the right tools is awesome. So definitely it's going to replace some of the functions that a person in revenue would do. Whether it be researching the customer, coming up with a point of view. You can even feed it if they have any annual reports and try to extract some insights from it, which would take you hours to do. You could do it in minutes now.
So it's a clever funnel. It's not the old sales funnel that just spits out the same thing to everyone, insert name.
Correct. Correct. Look, we know now, there's amazing tools out there, and it's never been easier to go from zero to setting up an email campaign, really personalised. But because it's a lot easier to do that with the tools like Clay and Smart Lead and all these great tools that are out there, it's that now we're getting smashed more than ever with relevant emails, but our radar has just become numb and we're switching off from that. So while we say it's okay to leverage those tools, you need a multi-channel approach. And that's what we teach and preach within Growth Forum, is that the ones who approach a multi-channel outbound system, and what I mean by that is email, phone, SMS and social, are the ones that win. And what I mean by win is that they're getting upwards of a 37% and above response rate from the cold activity if they have that multi-channel approach. So some of that you can automate, but a fair part of that is manual. And you need people to act on that for the moment, right? AI will come in and be able to assist, but you got to look at AI as the enabler for your salespeople. You may not need 20 salespeople in the team. You might reduce it down to 10 because AI can now make these people have 2, 3, 5x the output for the ones that leverage it and use it in the right way.
Makes sense. And I think cold calls are a tough one, because I think if you're picking up the call at the wrong time, you're definitely going to give the wrong response, even if it's a pain point for you. You're just not giving them the time. And the other one is when on the other end there's that little click noise and you go, it's cold call, goodbye.
You can tell. Look, some of the AI tools are getting really, really good with it. But again, it depends on when you use that sort of technology. If it's someone like for support and like I've dealt with some AI tools, I know it's AI, but they're giving me amazing results when I'm talking to them and the answers that I need. That's fine. I'm happy with that, rather than waiting in a queue for 45 minutes, getting someone in another country and then getting frustrated because they don't have the results. I've just wasted 2 hours.
Absolutely.
Where now, within 5 minutes, I got the answer that I want.
Yes.
And they point me in the right direction. And if I need to speak to someone, then they can reroute me to a human. That's okay. That's great use case there.
Yes.
Until the tools become much more better and they can adapt to tone and to have a bit more empathy as well, depending on the situation and why you're calling. But we're still a way to go, but it'll probably be here within the next 6 to 8 months. I wouldn't be surprised.
Amazing. So what's next for Growth Forum? So we've just launched the book.
Yep. So a bit of a book tour at the moment. So you'll be hearing a lot about the book, but a lot of what we do is just we want to make this as an asset for whether you're a founder or part of the revenue generating team, sales or marketing. The way we've designed the book, it's not to be read from front to end, even though you can do that. It's a bit of a choose your own adventure. So we've broken it down to all the different stages of your lead gen and deal flow pipeline.
Yes.
You can pick a particular chapter, go to that area, get the insights, get the coaching, get the template, and then apply it then and there.
So good.
So it's a bit of that, we want it to be the little black book of sales and, be your Bible for your revenue team. So now it's obviously physical, got the audio version as well out if you like to listen to it. We even give it away for free if you jump on our websites, if you want the
Amazing.
digital format. For us, it's more about
Yeah.
impact.
Yes.
Because we can't serve everybody.
Yes.
But the book, can go everywhere. So.
And they can
That's
also
amazing.
tune into the podcast?
Yes, they can tune into the podcast. So if you just look up Growth Forum on YouTube or even hit me up on LinkedIn, I can share all the details. But we focus on the YouTube and with our podcast around how to scale to $100 million. And this is where we're sharing our insights, sharing the insights from the companies that we work with and train and develop as to what's working and what's not working in order to get to that sort of milestone mark.
And this is focused at the moment on B2B sales?
Correct. So it's B2B, whether you're in technology or service-based, but it's more that high ticket where, in the buying process, you need a human to speak to a potential prospect.
Right.
Because, the value of them is worth 5, 10, 15 and above thousand.
Yeah.
So they need that person to talk to. It's not a $20 license that someone could just self-sign up. That's a whole different approach. So B2B focused, and it's been a journey to get here.
Absolutely, and the fact that you're still here and standing after going through all that with COVID as well, after the exit, the repurchase, how do you balance your health and your family now? So this is not going back to when you first launched and there wasn't the family, you've got kids. What does that picture look like?
Well, lucky I've got an amazing partner, my wife Grace.
Ah.
She probably won't watch this, but if she does, I gave her some brownie points there. What we do now is, look, the kids I've got 3, 12, 10 and 8s, awesome little kids. They're into sports, so soccer or football is what they do. We live at our club.
We will both be at a Melbourne Victory event.
Yes, we will. So we break it up where we sort of live through them at the moment. I can't play no more. Well, I can, but I'm scared, if I'm being honest. I've done my ACL on one, Achilles in the other. So I'll get my mental freedom time through coaching. Yeah. So I put the phone away during that time. I coach my daughter's team, and for that 4 hours a week when I'm coaching, that's sort of my mental space. I'm focusing on the girls, making sure they can perform at their best, focusing on the game. Nothing can interrupt me. I don't have my Apple Watch, nothing. It's just me, the girls and the football, and that's sort of my release for my mental side. Yeah. And then I also work out daily at home. During COVID, I actually had done my ACL. So obviously you couldn't go to a gym. I'm the type of person that will blow up if I don't do something regularly. Yep,
so, I can align with that, absolutely.
I just look or smell food and put on the kilos.
I hurt myself during COVID as well. I tore a hammy. I was like, got to find something.
It is, right? And as you get older, the recovery times get longer. So I built a home gym at home, which there's probably the great side effect there. It's a bit of monkey see, monkey do. So now my kids
role
going
modeling.
on. So my son will go onto the treadmill and say, Dad, I've done 2Ks.
Yes.
My youngest daughter, she's doing chin-ups, and she smashes everyone. Gosh. She's a little machine. So it's good. So they see good habits.
Yes.
Within their parents, looking after their body, and so hopefully that instills into them as well.
Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing, Dave. This is the Inspired CEO, and we'll be right back.